But if the brain really has to be quiet, how you do? Like the 2 days I have to change one Brahmari and then making you to understand when it was so cold, body was shivering. I had to change. I have to change your kumbhak in different way, antar kumbhak. So what was it? Because that is another problem, that is so cold, all of you are shaking. The body is not ready to do anything. So how I made you to do? Otherwise the prana would have gone. With the cold you would have felt that now nothing is possible. But when you did inhalation, retention, immediately you felt some life coming. Oh, that was better. So pranayama can do that. If that is the thing you need to know, all the types of pranayama in that sense. Why these are there? Then dirgha and sukshma. Desha, kala, sankhya. That means the quality of the breathing. If I am sitting and I feel, then you know very well that I am tired and I am breathing, or you may ask, is she asthmatic, she is breathing like that? Should we call a doctor? If that is the thing, then you should know that that breathing, if I do, it's not having any quality. I just breathe because I am gasping for the breath. It's not the quality of the breath, I am gasping, everybody understands that. No, it should not happen. Let me have a quiet breath. Let me have a proper breath, so that my body doesn't jump, my diaphragm doesn't jump. It's not an exertion in my chest or my intercostal muscles that I keep on just breathing like that. And of course, if you keep on breathing in that manner, after a while you will be tired. Then perhaps the doctor will declare it's asthma, make her to lie down. If doctor is there, he said, no, ask Geeta to stop teaching, she is asthmatic now. That means variation in the breath, which Patanjali says as Shwasa and Prashwasa are obstacle. In this sense, they are all obstacles, which you have to remove with proper pranayama. And that is called sankhya according to, that means the quality of inhalation, quality of exhalation, as per requirement has to change. Because now that quality is required. Which quality required? On that day when it was very cold, I knew that now the quality has to be changed. You can't have a passive in passive shavasana doing a soft passive breath. You would have been dead over there, cold. Circulation would have been affected. So I said, no, sit down now and do the pranayama with inhalation, retention. So the life came. That is samkhya in that. That means the quality you choose for the pranayama, where body has gone cold, it should not go so much cold. Some heat has to be produced from within and you produce the heat. When you did Bhramari on that day, with Bhramari you felt everything becoming passive and quiet. I saw everybody's eyebrows, forehead became quiet. You talk about Guruji's eyebrows, thick, showing all the expression. But at the same time, if it's a deep shavasana, his forehead, his eyebrows, everything is to recede in that manner. As a person, if you know he was fiery, absolutely with shavasana or forehead and eyebrows, he was absolutely cool. So what nature he wanted at that time, he could invite that easily. If he has to lose temper on you, yes, he can invite and become fiery. And that's why yesterday when I said, while teaching, you have to, because you are reaching out to teach. But when you are doing, you are reaching in to look into yourself. If you are reaching in, you don't need rajasic nature. You can't ask me the question, how am I to go in? Because there is no methodology, you have to go in. That is sattvic nature. But if I have to reach out, I have to be Rajasic, because I have to teach you means I have to reach out. And that is what Trigunas play in the pranayama. Right now, if you have to be quiet, or when you are listening, you are having Rajasic nature to listen to me, but it's a soft Rajasic nature. But those who feel, oh, what is this, she is talking and not still teaching, boring, she should have taken the pranayama, that is tamasic nature. Doesn't want to listen what I am now as a teacher telling, and want to do something. So tamas is already there, and they want the rajas to come out. Make us to do something now, finish. How long you are going to make us to sit? There was trigunas. So as you come with the province, with the quality, with the quantity, similarly you have got this also, the state of the mind in which you are. Then again, that prana has to be held, or achieved prana has to have the dirghata. Dirghata means it has to reach everywhere. It is not just inhalation breath or exhalation breath becoming long. When we say have happy birthday to you, many more years, then what do you mean to say, Gita ji, you have life many more years, touch 100, you may say, bless me. So that is what dirghata is. Dirghata means what today you have got energy, tomorrow also, day after tomorrow, for every birthday, every new birthday, every day the dirghata. It is not just long inhalation, long exhalation. Sukshma, that is another quality in the pranayama required. Sukshma means subtle. Just to sit and speak to you, the energy, I need not dance or jump and talk to you. I have to be quiet. If I have to be quiet, the prana has to be sukshma over there. Even to think, to do something, you have to have a subtle prana inside. If I have to think something, that why this person is doing like that, why the mistake is happening, if I know the answer, it comes from sthula prana. That means I corrected the people on the platform, you saw that. It says sthula prana, yes, this sarvangasana is wrong, you have to do like this, have another 2 blankets, lift and finished off, sthula prana. But when it is a process where the person has a very minute, deep problem, then it is my sukshma prana which has to work. So I think, why even with the little movement also she is feeling headache, or she is having the problem, whatever it may be. There the sukshma prana works. As you say, I have to go deep inside. If the sukshma prana takes you inside. If any day you have felt in pranayama that you went deep inside, you were very quiet, for a long time you were quiet, that is dirghata. But then it breaks and then you say, oh, enough of shavasana, I think I did for a long time. Sukshmata, that means when it is subtle, you feel that somewhere deep inside you have got another inner channel where you were absolutely in a quiet state, and many times you do not understand. Even person going to the sleep, suppose while doing shavasana person goes to sleep and you see the neighbor is sleeping. When snoring is taking place, that is again vayu. Snoring is a process of the vayu in the body. Snoring does not give you deep sleep, it is a tamoguna. But snoring, so you say let go, because he is, perhaps person did not sleep at night, so now he is snoring or she is snoring. That is a vayu which is not useful for the pranayama. The person who is snoring cannot do the pranayama, and you can't wake up because then his nerves will go wrong. But when it is sukshma, no snoring, deep sleep, then that prana will be somewhere deep inside penetrating. And that's why you are absolutely, you say, I had a good sleep, quiet sleep, no disturbance. Otherwise that prana vibrates, makes you to get up. So that is the whole nature of prana which we have within. The vayu means it's a functioning. When the prana begins to function, it's vayu. And when outer breath you take, again it is the air which you take from outside as a food for this vayu within, which is ready to function now, to put you in a shavasana state or make you to stand and do trikonasana, parsvakonasana, whatever. And it has a base energy. Because of that base energy, if my legs fail, I have lost my base energy. If you can stand and do, yes, you have a base energy. You have to build up that energy. If you have to do the pranayam, the same base energy has to know where to get activized, where has to be quiet. That is pranayama. Now, what are the types of pranayama? You know, in lying down position when you do ujjayi, you know viloma, abhyantara viloma, bahya viloma, bahyabhyantara viloma, when having the pauses during the inhalation as well as during the exhalation. You can do Bhramari in Shavasana. So Bhramari is another one. Or you do the Kumbhaka without bandha. You inhale and you wait there quietly for a while in order to maintain your chest in a right position just for a second or two. Then you begin to exhale. After the end of exhalation, again when the abdomen recedes quietly, you say, okay, let me have just two pause there. So when the abdomen says, now begin your inhalation, you begin your inhalation. That is another type where you have, you don't attempt as antar kumbhak or bahya kumbhak as it happens in sitting posture, but the pauses after inhalation, pause after inhalation or pause after exhalation is experienced by you, where the body says, leave me alone for a while. It keeps the breath in a suspended state. Inhalation also in suspended state, exhalation also in suspended state. What Guruji talks about echo exhalation, you exhale and after the exhalation, everything just becomes so calm and quiet. Sometimes the mind is not prepared for the inhalation. That means after a long time of shavasana, let us say 10 minutes or so when you do, 11th minute may come which says, I now don't want to inhale, let me just be calm, quiet. Then after a second or 2 or 5 seconds the inhalation begins is the fact. But that passage where the exhalation has ended smoothly, everything is smooth inside, the flow of energy is smooth, you are quiet, and that quietness as you experience, psychologically you are receding inside totally, your mental movements of everything is just calm. You are that you have stopped the mental movements. Mentally you feel, no, I don't want to now do anything. You don't even say that, but everything stops. That is echo exhalation, which happens in shavasana, which can happen even sitting posture. But when you sit, then again all these viloma pranayama, ujjayi pranayama is there, without bandhas, with 3 bandhas or 2 bandhas, and then without the bandha also. As yesterday, it took long time for you to know the Jalandhar bandha. So how long it takes for one to learn the Jalandhar bandha, though I was throwing just the points after points for Jalandhar bandha, that what ears do, what the eyes do, what the tongue does, what the face does, what the skin does, what the chest does, what the sternum does, what the armpits do. In the pranayama, this whole process in ujjayi, you are establishing that relationship or adjustment, the understanding, etc. When the viloma begins, is the other day I said, when I took the viloma, I said, you are in shavasana and you find, or sitting also when I took the abhyantara viloma, I said that at certain point you find the body has its own curvatures. This body is not like a straight road, highway, that one end to the other end you drive. If there is a curve, on the road it is shown, that left curvature, right curve. So you are sure, I mean you know that now your car has to go turn a bit to the right, left, or you should know that vehicle may come. So you can't just have that speed. Curves on the mountains you find. So you have to check every time the speed. So when there is a curve, you don't just turn your vehicle fast. So in the breath also, at certain places you find, if my breath is climbing at certain point, then I have to wait and give a proper passage to it to inhale further. So the different directions available in the body in order to move up, climb or go backward, speed wise or go front forward, all this has got the pauses. That means the breath of vehicle, the breath which is in the form of vehicle waits there and begins. And that is how Abhyantara, Bahya, Viloma Pranayama has come into, I mean Bahya and Abhyantara, Viloma Pranayama has come in picture. What is that Bahya? Exhalation pauses or inhalation pauses. Whichever you do, even while exhaling, the vehicle should not slide. You need to know where to control, where to have a hold. And then that Viloma Pranayama makes meaningful. First I may say have two or one pause, two pauses, then three pauses. The question is not how many pauses, because at the end my teaching will be wrong if you have got pauses understood by you at right places, at right time, because then I am not the one who controls your breath. I control in order to teach, because you have to understand something. I hold the hand of fingers of yours which has a pencil, and I say please write A. I am holding my hand and you write A in this manner. But how long I can hold your hand to teach you how to write A? But you do it for the child. You 10 times you show sometimes on the paper. See how I take my finger, then I will draw a line in the center, that becomes A for apple. You have to know all that. If you have to say I have to control, if A for the apple has to be written, how it has to be written. So I may say one pause and then proceed. But for you it is to find out where that breath says. If the movement of the body changes, the place of the pauses change. Your chest opens more, the pause will change. If your chest does not open much, pause will change. Today you are tired and you can't really work with the thoracic, the pause areas will change. But if you are energetic, yes, your areas of the pauses will change. All these observations has to come, which depends again in the same manner on Sankhya, Kala. If I said about now this Viloma Pranayama, all the three types, then sitting pranayama, in sitting posture, doing the same Viloma will be having different movement, because now it's sitting and vertically going upward. So if it comes from this Viloma Pranayama to Antar Kumbhak, then opening of the chest, upper chest, freedom at the bottom ribs, all this will change again, and again you have to reach to the different level over there. Do you understand what I said? If you understand this, please mark it, because otherwise this part is unknown. Because whether Guruji came to teach you, or I came to teach you, or Prashant teaches you, the meaning will be same, because at the end, in 1 hour, 1.5 hours, 2 hours, what you are going to learn? You pick up something a little there, which doesn't make much sense. You have to know all these things. Now from non-digital pranayama to the digital pranayama when you come, again in that so many faculties are there. The first faculty, how you keep the fingers. Why the tips? Why not this front thick part of the thumb? Why you research this tip? What sensitivity this tip has got? When you keep the fingers, that the other day I told you that you can't have a fingers like that which is strenuous. When you take the fingers inside, then the strain on the muscle of the fingers is lesser. I told you this, and when I told you this, I said that's why we have to roll. The question should not arise in your mind, why the fingers like that. I said read the book, read Light on Pranayama book, what Guruji has written about fingers. Again, these two and this thumb has got a different aspect of 5 elements in them. After all, they are fingers of yours, 5 fingers, but thumb and last 2 fingers have got different vayu, I mean different bhuta, pancha mahabhuta, that is earth, fire, air, ether, all that touching in those area in a different way, and which Guruji has written in the book. Finger tips are changing, and here are again in the nostril area, to which normally you are not introduced. Only regarding nose you know one thing, a very long good nose, or nose is not good, or you say 2 nostrils, one is blocked, the other one is. I have got a cold in my right nose, it's just water is running, but left is no watering, there is no watering. There you understand your nose. The doctors know, yes, the septum is there, 2 nostrils are there, the breathing happens from that nose, and how that breathing happens and reaches inside, how the oxygen is taken inside. So either you know defect or you know the functioning, that breath rushes from the nose and it reaches inside up to the lungs or alveolus, but your circulation has to be better in the lungs. If that taken oxygen has to reach inside, they will say, because they know little further knowledge about it. But for you, as a yogic practitioner, you have to know, in the nose is a small area, but in the nose, which area is blocked and which area is opened. In which area you find the life is coming and which area you are not feeling the breath touching. Or it's an experiment where my breath is touching. The inner wall of the nose, or septum wall of the nose, or front wall of the nose, or the carpet wall of the nose which is behind. So you begin to think in that manner when you do digital pranayama. Again in that digital pranayama, that means after the 5 elements, the space available, because it is one tunnel, I mean 2 tunnels, but see, 1 tunnel on this side, 1 tunnel on that side. The behavior of this tunnel, you get sensitivity up to some area of the tunnel and sensitivity is less on the other tunnel, on the other nose, on the nostril. So why that happens? Then in the similar manner, how the septum behaves, whether air touches there or not touching there. You have got a sensitivity in your septum, that is center wall of the nose. If you have no feeling, you know it exists, but you have no feeling, you have to invite the pranayama to say, why I am not feeling that. Then in digital pranayama, so many varieties. So many varieties, there is Anuloma pranayama, there is a Pratiloma pranayama, there is a Surya Vedan, there is a Chandra Vedan, there is Surya Chalan, Chandra Chalan, Nadi Shodhan. Now you read that in Light on Pranayama, how Bhastrika, Kapalabhati with fingers on the nostril, without fingers on the nostrils, how varieties available. The gross picture is kept in front of you that this is the pranayama. But earlier chapters, if you read, then to connect that to each pranayama is a different thing. Because Guruji also has spoken about it in the book. The areas, different areas, how they get involved in the pranayama, whether it was abdominal or thoracic or vocal. So vocal pranayama, thoracic pranayama, diaphragmatic pranayama, abdominal pranayama, When it comes to Mula Bandha, it is the base of the trunk in Mula Bandha area, where Muladhara area, the Mula Bandha how is involved. So that is again the Desha. Again it is a province, and you build up your pranayama knowing that province how it works. So that's a different again. The name is the same, but feeling is different. Moment you do Ujjayi with Mula Bandha, it is different. When you do Ujjayi without Mula Bandha, it is different. When you do the Ujjayi with Uddiyana Bandha, it is different, which happens in the exhalation. When you do without Uddiyana Bandha, it is different. Similarly, in the digital pranayama, when you inhale on the right and exhale on the left, it is different. Surya Bhedar, and then again the Surya Bhedar with these bandhas, kumbhakas, that is different. So varieties when you have got, you should know why so much of variety. Is it just a mere exercise? No, it cannot be a mere breathing exercise. There is a reason behind it. When you do all this, in the final pranayama, almost in everything, the final pranayama, whether it is Surya Bhedan, Chandra Bhedan, Nadi Shodhan, you come to the point where when you introduce the kumbhakas or when you introduce the bandhas in that, it becomes sukshma. It becomes more subtle. And in the subtle pranayama, you understand what I said about the 5 pranas existing in our body, how they work. The 5 elements like Prithvi, Ap, Tej, Vayu and Akash are earth element, water element, the fire element, then air element and ether element at the crown. How they work, how they get involved. So, how many varieties got available to you? So to keeping the tip of the fingers properly, or when he says while inhaling you have to keep the wall of the nose longer, and while exhaling slightly lift like a skirting the wall of the nose up and then exhale the breath. So, how qualitatively it might be changing your inhalation and exhalation. In Brahmani he says keep the fingers, in the Bhastrika he says have the fingers on your nostril. If you have to do from the right side, you have your fingers there below the nasal bone, and then while inhaling, just see that you inhale on the right, you exhale on the left, fast, same like Bhastrika. And that can be happening on the left side also, same way having the fingers on the nose. So, Kapalabhati is soft process of exhaling from the brain, same like Bhastrika. The Bhastrika will be from the abdomen. So, the place changed, desha changed. So, each thing when you have to learn, same like asana, how to turn the right leg, how to turn the left leg, or how to keep the foot, etc., how to keep the knee, etc. Then understand in pranayama how many things might be there. Then again for digital pranayama there is a viloma, the pauses in the inhalation, pauses in the exhalation. How long it takes then to learn all this? And I can't burden your respiratory system with all the varieties. You have to learn it step by step only. So, if you have to learn step by step, how will you do? So, having this in the mind, I have given the whole picture. Although I haven't said anything about the technique of it, you should know that if really one has to learn the pranayama, at least get understanding of the pranayama, how much time you need to give for it. People cannot do, we have to stop. But as you begin to do, as body undergoes the transformation or change, when you repeat Parivritta Parshvakonasana 3 times in 3 ways, and suppose still further time, same Parivritta Parshvakonasana, when you repeat it for the 6 times, it may bring the change in different way. It may bring the change in understanding way. The other day when you did Parivritta Parshvakonasana. The quality of the Parivritta Parsvakonasana may change as you repeat. Similarly, in the pranayama, when you keep on doing like that with all those understanding, that quality also will change. But where is the time for that? When are you going to understand that? And it's true that you can't jump in pranayama. More you will do the asanas, you are safer in the pranayama. More means is not time wise, quality wise. You repeat 6 times your Parivritta Parsvakonasana, but quality wise. Don't repeat just for the sake of repetition, perhaps the 6th repetition will be total failure. But if quality wise that Parivritta action begins to go ahead, then you feel, oh, something else came. Some other portion of the body turned which I was not knowing all these days. Similarly, in the pranayama that will happen. You will find the change that yes, never I could do this kind of pause, kumbhak, it came. I could never lift the spine in this manner. The last cycle gave me such a lift in the spine, the quality wise is changed. The body changes, the breath changes, or reverse, your breathing process changes, the body changes. The prana from inside is awakened to work, the body changes. Similarly, the consciousness changes. At some certain point of time you feel, oh, this cycle came so nicely, the consciousness was stable, it was quiet, the mind became quiet, the breath came better. That is quality changed, because there is an interrelationship between body, your mind, your breath, or the body, consciousness, breath. The chitta of yours may show the quality or that aspect which you haven't seen all these days. Only you know, I can't keep the mind quiet, tell us which asana has to be done so that my mind becomes quiet. You want ready-made answers. That is not the way. Ready-made answers we can give up to some level. If you haven't got the proteins, I will say eat some protein food. That much I can say. But whether protein is digested by you is the next question. So whether you digest that breath or not, that's the next question. Did it go interiorly to touch inside? That is different question. Did it touch the mind? That's a different question. And that's why I decided today, I was just thinking while coming in the car, I said, how to make this you people to understand when we talk about the pranayama. Otherwise, straight away I would have taken and by this time it would have been finished. But when will you understand this? Your quality of the mind. Many a time I have said, that's why those cassettes which are there of pranayama class, whichever I have made, in that sometimes I just refer to sattvic, rajasic, tamasic, etc. Because I see sometimes a group sitting there and which is in a tamasic state. I see sometimes they are in a rajasic state. So I can take how to change that rajasic state to sattvic state, or how to maintain the sattvic state. This all is involved in that pranayama. If you understand, because pranayama compared to dharana will be gross. As you find the pranayama is compared to the asana subtle. Asana is gross compared to the pranayama. So even the 8 aspects when given by Patanjali, he knows that how that flow of sattva raja tamo guna will be, how the flow of your 5 elements will be, how the flow of vata pitta kapha will be, to what state it will take you when you are in pratyahara, when you are in dharana. In dhyan, what will be the state of all these? In dhyan, what will be the state of your 5 pranas? If prana itself is in an unhealthy state, what dhyana you can do? If senses are in unhealthy state, unhealthy means wandering nature for dhyana purpose. If they are in wandering nature, which vayu is the problem? So that you bring that sense of perception to the normalcy, and then variety of pranayama for that purpose. All this is a knowledge in that manner. By reading just the Yoga Sutras, it won't come. And that is what the best gift of Guruji is. He says that I never read Yoga Sutras first. I did practice first. And when I practice, what I understood, that I connect to the Yoga Sutras. That what the sutras say. And there I understood the depth of that practice. So why Patanjali has arranged the sutras in a particular manner? Whether you read horizontally like this, one after the other sutra, that is different. Or if you read the sutras of Patanjali, first chapter, first sutra, second chapter, first sutra, third chapter, third sutra, fourth chapter, first sutra, it has got deep connection. If not absolutely first sutra, perhaps set of 2 or 3 in the beginning, set of 2 or 3 in the beginning, and that is why he connected, because nobody connects this. He connects all the topics of Patanjali Yoga Sutra in the manner so that they show the connection. That is why you think it has been jumped. No, he connects that sutra. Today this convention is Yoga Anushasanam. It is Yoga Anushasanam. I am not going to say that I have given you yoga and you have learnt. Anushasanam, learn that discipline. And what discipline? My father has given to me some discipline in yoga to make me understand. Same I am repeating to you to understand that how that discipline has to come. Anushasanam itself is like that. What Patanjali says, he himself admits that earlier it has been said in Upanishads, in Aranyakas, or in Vedas, everywhere is the yoga has been explained earlier. So many samhitas and everything, everywhere it is. He brings all that in the form of sutra to bring it to one this thing, so that when you read the Yoga Sutra, you know, oh, what Ahirbuddha Samhita has said, oh, what Rigveda has said, oh, what Yajurveda has said, or what Upanishad has said. Now we haven't got the time to read and understand all that, but he has brought it in a disciplined manner, but he doesn't say Yoga Shasanam. He says Anushasanam. What has been said earlier, I am telling you. And similar manner, we as the students of Guruji, what has been said earlier, we will say, we will do. So the discipline goes in a proper manner. Discipline also has to go in a disciplined manner. You have to understand this. And that is why today I took long time, it's already first session is over. I will give you a time, half an hour, just come in and we will continue with the pranayama. I hope you understand that why the asana session I haven't taken. I will continue with the pranayama, because somewhere you need to understand this. And tomorrow will be short time. I mean, tomorrow will be the time for the asanas, and day after tomorrow short time, where I can't explain all these things to you. I hope you understood what my point was. And if I call you to come for the lecture for this purpose, nobody will turn up. Nobody will turn up. And you know who will turn up? As usual, my students who are teachers, who always come to the monthly meets, etc., they will come. Or somebody a bit enthusiastic will come. Hardly 40 people. Am I right? In Pune, if it is a convention, a little bit bigger size, as all are there attending. But your ears are not open for that to know. Pranayama book only you don't open. When I told preliminary course, I said there is a pranayama. They said Ujjayi pranayama. Okay, then Ujjayi pranayama 1 and 2, what is it? Nobody knows. Teachers also did not realize what is really Ujjayi 1 and Ujjayi 2. What a beautiful base it is. But reading is less. Understanding is further less. Adopting it is further poor. Then understanding absolute poverty. What can be done? What can be done? It's you who have to understand. Because to that level that is enough. Let the person get introduced to the breath. If getting introduced to the breath, if that person says, oh, this is pranayama, that means inhalation, exhalation is pranayama. That is want of knowledge. Poverty in the knowledge. So much poor you are. So you have to come to that basic in order to understand further how you have to proceed. And almost 90% says, I can't do the pranayam, so we won't do the pranayam. Oh, it's boring. We won't do it. Ask my youngsters. Up to age of 25 also they don't want to touch the pranayama. Forget, they say. Better you make us to do Phulam balance 10 times we will do. But don't ask us to do 10 minutes shavasana. Why? There is a reason behind it. I am not denying that. Because when you 10 times jump for Phulam balance, you feel energetic life. That Rajoguna is ready to work. And that's right, absolutely right. Because your Rajoguna has to come to surface to do the yoga. I want to do yoga means my Rajoguna has to come up. But this foolish brain, they says, oh, yoga means you have to be quiet. So let me be quiet and suffer. That is ajnana, that is ignorance. In ignorance also make you to be quiet. Suppose if I am a learned person and you are having all the ignorance, will you speak to me? You say, oh, she is a learned person, I can't. Or you are learned, I can't speak to you. Oh, the person is learned, knows so many things, better that I keep quiet. Is it not? Does it not happen like this? So in this similar manner it happens to all these youngsters. They ask me many a time, how did you practice the pranayama? I said, first I just saw the method. Guruji has said Ujjayi, he has just taught Viloma. I used to do Ujjayi, the Viloma and finished off, that's all. When doing, then the interest came, yes. Every day I do Ujjayi, every day I will, then sitting, let me sit in Padmasana and find out what can I do. Yes, I did and some understanding came. Repeat. Tatra sthito yatno bhyasaha. Practice, practice, practice. When you practice, then vairagya comes, abhyasa, then a little bit vairagya. If five times abhyasa, 1 time vairagya. Like Phulam balance you do, keep on doing, energetic you feel, then you say, oh, I did 10 times my Phulam balance. Now 11th time at least let me watch whether my elbows remain straight. Can I become tall? If something has come and I can jump and become tall, why not myself become tall in Phulam balance? So some knowledge came. So doing like that, some Ujjayi, some Viloma, whatever it is there, then one cycle says, oh, this cycle was quite different. It reached me somewhere inside. And after that, 10 cycles of Ujjayi, let us say, you don't know what time you went to sleep. That means first you invited, after 10 cycles the sleep. And that sleep, which is qualitatively a good sleep, even if it is for 5 minutes. So you first get the fruit of that sleep after 10 cycles, where for a while your awareness fades. The mind goes back. Your mind is also not active. It's not that it surfaces and makes you to think. It just subsides somewhere. As it subsides, you are quiet. because you haven't even witnessed that moment of when the mind subsides and becomes quiet. Is it not something we have to witness? How that quietness came? You say that, okay, 10 cycles I did with well open chest myself, but afterward the opening of the chest was not possible. The breath was happening and then everything became quiet. So what is that quality? Why that physical action of opening of the chest gradually got converted into the mental action where you never had to use that much effort which you used for earlier 10 cycles. Suddenly the efforts became less and you found that you are calm and quiet. It may have turned later to the sleep, but that sleep was quite different than your regular sleep 8 hours or whatever at night. Is it not a change? Is it not something one has to observe? And these changes in a still perfect manner are paripakva, fructified, ripe, in a ripe manner changing is said by Patanjali in a parinama, how the transformation takes place. For him, just 3 sutras were enough for that. In 3 sutras he said and finished it. But for 3 sutras we have to struggle whole of the life. From Nirodha state, how he comes to this Samadhi Parinama, from Nirodha Parinama to Samadhi Parinama, from Samadhi Parinama to Ekagrata Parinama. And because the mental change has taken place, he says now physically also it will automatically change. As your body for 10 cycles struggled and then it became quiet and breathing path from inside was opened newly. First you witness your lungs, your chest, your ribs, your nose to breathe, breathe. Your inhalation, exhalation. Then the same breath somewhere became quiet and yet you were breathing. That is a transformation, small transformation occurring. And in that manner, the whole transformation of consciousness along with the 5 elements of the body, Panchavayus of the body has to happen, which Patanjali says it happens in 1 sutra. And that is how you have to understand that pranayama. Yes, I give you the time, you can come back and we will do again the pranayama as convention is ours. Thank you. Thank you.